yes, you have to learn more and more. And then I went for MBA and ultimately I did my two more post graduations. And just at the age of 30, I went into the hospital management. And let me tell you that since the day I joined as at a very junior position as a deputy manager of stores, that was at that time in 1980, was managing a budget of about 4.5 crore was like managing hundreds of crores of budget today, though I was not at the top. But still, I was given a free hand by my boss, and I'm so thankful to wherever I have been that all my superiors have always helped me. That there he said that we would like that whatever way you feel, you know, doing things and how does it matter. And that was the first thing when I felt satisfied was that we applied ABC VD analysis at that time, doing by not on computer and all at 1980s, just manually and all. And then we were able to reduce our you know medicines from 600 to almost 324. And there was the suddenly we came into this how to go for maintenance contracts, this and that. Just to cut it short, by being a professional management person and applying my knowledge where I was, ultimately within 5 years, I felt I was quite satisfied with my services. And thereafter, I have worked in various capacities, and in fact, these have been like in government hospital, deputy medical superintendent, additional medical superintendent, medical superintendent, and additional senior medical commissioner and whatnot. And what I feel that by being qualified manager made a difference than the others wherever I was. Let me just tell you, everybody asked me because my last posting was in Bangalore, where I went just because I was sent that it was a difficult hospital. So all these people started looking for a person who should have professional qualification. I'm talking of government, that is why I'm again and again using the word professional. So ultimately I was sent there, and somehow or the other that I started looking at things, why this hospital is always in news for bad things, why it is on TV9 and all that, and getting into the root cause of everything. And ultimately, within my 5 years of posting there, I was able to establish a huge complex with public-private participation that is in cardiology, which runs now even after I have left, 8 years ago. Then it became a postgraduate institute, it became a medical college, and that is how what I'm talking of my professional achievements, and all that has been due to my knowledge whatsoever I have. I'm not one of any top person in any hospital management or anything, but being a normal professional, I was able to achieve as much as possible within the existing circumstances. So this is not my story. This was, last we had our alumni meet after 50 years of our class, and there are few persons in hospital management, and when I interacted with them, they have felt highly satisfied. And leaving aside all this, going with the present scenario, you realize that how the hospital sector is growing, the way things are in other industries, that you find that at some point or the other now, like with the COVID situation, there are a number of industries which will virtually fall, and not that they will never come up, they may take up some time to come up, but this is one industry which will never have any recession. This we like, especially on the corporate side, we are having to stalwarts with you. This industry is getting double as every 4 to 5 years. And people from institute wherever we have been, and you see that when I think of Jaipur, and you by now most of you must have reacted with Nikita madam and seen the how she approaches the things and how is she involved in everything in our institute, and how vibrant she has made our department. She is also one of you, right? And she always feels proud of telling that she, being a non-medical person from the stream of having done English honors and whatnot, ultimately she is one of the very much respected and known person in the field of hospital management. So there are a number of opportunities, whether you go to the private or to the hospital, or you become yourself an entrepreneur as of today, because you know the time has come, and people like you, most of you, I feel, because I have been interacting with you and I have had a number of classes with you also earlier. You have that zeal, knowledge, and motivation to hold your own organizations. So you can be into the government organizations. Let me tell you that as of now, you know that Delhi administration, ESIC and other, and what we have been trying from the back since class pay commission and earlier also is that the government should come out with the cadre of hospital administrators. Just like, you know, you have other cadres, like on the public health, the specialist cadre, the generalist cadre, and teaching cadre. Similarly, they must come out with a cadre, and time is not far off when the government will really get into it, though there have been fragmented efforts. As of now, Delhi administration is employing our students. You know, our students are being taken in different projects of the government, that whether it is in Nirman Bhavan or in NHSRC or in NHFW, or there are other government institutions. Private hospitals, I think my colleagues will be able to tell you much better. Right from joining as the junior most position, you can rise to the CEO, and we have the examples of our students, you know, from Jaipur, because Delhi is just 10 years, 12 years, but our students are in the positions of the vice presidents and CEOs in other institutions. So my colleagues will be talking about that more. You know that the specialty hospitals, nursing homes, super specialty, corporate hospitals, you know, rehabilitation centers, home health care, health insurance, medical tourism, everything is coming up like anything. So these are the future employers for our people. And as far as I consider that we have already prepared you to take up any of the leadership role, and you can lead any organization. I'll not now come in between, because you have to learn more from our distinguished colleagues who are here. So with this, let's wait for whatever are your queries. Over to Nikita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm happy to say that we have over 90 students connected with us at the moment, and they are increasing every second. Now I invite Commander Bali. Sir, the point that we want to deliberate here with you is that coming from the services with BSc Finance as the background, and no direct connect with the hospital administration stream per se, you've been leading from the front. So your point of view on the career growth for the students, and what is the success mantra? So you to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you, Nikita and Dr. Khokar, and I think a warm welcome to all the students, and I see some staff also. I think, yes. So I think a warm welcome to all of you, and I'm so glad that I'm here today. It's always so fantastic to talk to students. It's my favorite, kind of interaction, because, you know, they are absolutely a lot who are enthusiastic, who are looking towards positivity even in the negative things, and who are so much, also concerned about what's going around you. I just want to tell all of you one very important thing today in this COVID environment. Let me tell you, you are the most luckiest batch of students in IHMR today. Most of them are first year, Nikita.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that means they've got one more year to go.
Yeah.
So before I begin my story, I want to tell you first thing that you are absolutely the luckiest lot of IHMR students. I'll tell you why. Right now in the short run, you see all this chaos going on around you. By the time you pass out, all these companies which are right now, you must be hearing, salaries are being cut and this, and which I'll come to you later. By the time you guys pass out, you will see everything opening up for you and such amazing prospects await you. So one thing should be in your mind today, that you are one of the luckiest people in the batches which IHMR has seen. Okay, having said that, now let us keep that to one side. I want to tell you about briefly about myself, because I think this should be about you and not about us. More and more time should be spent about clearing all those doubts which are there in your young brains. So as Nikita said, I was doing pretty fine, and this is a lovely story which I want to tell you today. And there's a motto behind this story which I think you will catch. So I was doing pretty fine in the Indian Navy. I joined National Defense Academy, and around almost 25, 26 years, and I was top of my course, and things were pretty fine. And one fine day I was sailing from India to Muscat, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had one of the people who was on the bridge of the ship. He actually did some mistakes, and we went and collided with another ship in the Gulf. Now, a collision at sea is considered to be the worst thing that can happen to anybody in its career. And I was heading that ship that time, and my career was finished. Okay, because whether you were actually doing something or not, but you were there at that time in that ship, and my career was over. So from the top of the chain and the top of where I was in Indian Navy, I was brought back to Mother Earth. And actually speaking, that was the worst thing that could have happened to me ever in the Indian Navy. But believe you me, if I look back today, I think there could not have been a better thing than what happened that night, for me. Post that, Navy sent me because my career was finished. I could not have, gone anywhere higher, and they sent me to a shore appointment. But I think Navy realized that here is a guy who has some potential, and then that was the time when Navy decided to send me for a master's in finance, and I did a 2 years full term course in MBA finance, and went to Scotland and did my 6 months training there. Came back to India, and I was also doing fellowship in MDI Gurgaon that time, again in finance, where I met some people who were also doing fellowship, and they were from healthcare background, and they told me, why don't you look at healthcare as your next career? I had never thought of leaving Indian Navy, till that time. But as luck would have it, they forced me, and I went and met CEO Fortis, and also COO, Fortis. And I don't know what came on them, and they said that, why don't you go and head a hospital in Kangra? And that time Fortis had a hospital in Kangra. I didn't want to leave Delhi, but that led to many more steps, one after another, and in January of 2014. I was, there was a hospital called Rockland Hospital, and there was a very brave guy there, a CEO called Dr. Sameer Khan. I think he is a pass out of TIS Mumbai, I think.
Yes.
And I don't know what came on his mind that time. I don't know what he saw, and he said that we want you to head Rockland Hospital. And I said, sir, I'm zero in healthcare. I'm a master's in finance. I was in the Indian Navy for 24 years. I don't know H of healthcare also. What are you talking about? He said, no, you just come and join. And January 2014, I put in my papers in the Navy, and Navy takes a long time. They didn't want to let go of me. I was handling Navy's budget of around 35,000 crores. And it took 8 months for Navy to leave me. And August of 2014, I joined Rockland, and they waited for me, thanks to Sameer Khan and that team there. So what I wanted to tell you was that, first of all, an adversity which happened, which finished off my career, was the best thing that happened to me. That's point number one. Point number two, story continues. So from the time I got an offer from Rockland, and my papers were being processed, I was working in South Block, which is next to the president's house. My office was there. Every day at 5:30 or 6, I used to leave my office in uniform. I used to come near the embassy area. I used to change into CVs because, I had to change. And I used to come to Rockland Hospital at around 6 o'clock, 6:15, I used to reach. It was in Kutub institutional area that time. And from 6:30 to 8 o'clock every day, I sat on the billing desk, I sat on the front office, I went into OTs, I sat with doctors, I sat in every department because I knew I was zero in healthcare. And if I had to succeed in healthcare, I had to work hard. So this important concept of working hard, somehow I'm never been a great fan of working smart, at least in the initial part of your career. And that's what I did. I gave up my leave. I went and did. And thankfully, things went off fine. And then the story continues, as Nikita was telling, from Rockland to International Oncology. And today I'm heading, the northern region of Narayana Health, which is the second largest healthcare group in the country, and people take around 30 years to reach the position that I've reached. And I think God has been quite kind. And, that's what I thought I will want to tell you. So the first part of the story is adversities are actually not adversities. They're absolutely fantastic opportunities. And they're the best things that ever happened to you. That is point number one for all of you. The second thing is that hard work is something that has to be always in your mind, because especially in the initial part of your training, don't go by this paradigm of smart work. Hard work is very, very critical. I will now come to the present situation because it is important. You've been hearing it from here and there. I want to tell you from horse's mouth what is actually happening in corporate hospitals, and we'll specifically talk about private healthcare. As you're aware right now, because of Corona, this whole thing, there's been a lockdown. And because of this lockdown, right now, most of the private healthcare, the hospitals are almost in a shutdown mode till about, 10 days back. And some of the hospitals, government took over. Some of the hospitals, government said that, we'll convert them to COVID hospitals. Some of the hospitals, because the patients could not even reach, there's a lockdown going on. So there was a huge amount of footfall which went down. Revenues are almost nil in most of the hospitals. Some hospitals are around 20%, 30% of the occupancies. At the most, I would say the best of the cases, they would be around 30, 40%. So obviously when the revenue has gone down and the hospitals are not earning at all anything, what is happening to the salaries? What is happening to, looking at the employees? So most of the good healthcare players, I can name some of them like Apollo, Fortis, Max Healthcare, Narayana Health, have not even terminated or pushed out a single person at all. And that should be a great, great consolation to all of you. Look at healthcare, no revenue, hospitals shut down, or at the most 30, 20, 30% of occupancies, but not a person has been told to go home. And that is number one. The second point is obviously because there is no revenue, many of people at the senior levels, not at the junior levels. So junior levels, there has been not a single paisa cut in the salaries. And the salary deductions have only happened at the senior level. So what I want to tell you is, first of all, this point of time, it is in in the short run a very, very difficult time for the entire industry. Leave alone healthcare. Healthcare is still very, very lucky, as Professor Coker was mentioning. There are still patients, and now as we are seeing things opening up, hospitals are starting to come up to around 40, 50, 50, 60% kind of occupancies. And going forward, I think the hospitals maybe 2-3 months down the line will come back to where they are. So look at this situation right now. We are going through this stressful moment, but it is only in the short run. As you move forward, I think it's a great opportunity for even hospitals to look at their models, look at the inefficiencies in the system, look at how they can do things in a much better way, look at other issues where right now they can sort them out to become better hospitals in the future. Infection control has taken such a big thing. Now hospitals are going to be much better in that direction. So post-COVID, you are going to find much efficient, much better hospitals which will require as many people as they are right now, because no one is throwing anybody out. So I think it's a fantastic time to be in healthcare. All your doubts, all what's going on, what's going to happen to my job when I pass out, am I going to get placement, what is going to happen to healthcare, I think are quite unfounded. And as someone has said, that a director only uses the best of the actors for the hardest of the roles. All right. And I think no one else, than President Abdul Kalam has said it. And I think all of you are being chosen for that role, because I think IHMR Delhi is going to make those very, very good actors in a movie. I mean, and as far as the healthcare is concerned, is going to turn out, you guys are going to turn out to be excellent professionals, by the time you pass out. And by the time you pass out, we would have forgotten about COVID. COVID will remain till the time a vaccine is not discovered. Right now, we're going through this thing of social distancing. We are going through this things of, putting on your mask and things like that. Please, I mean, this will continue for quite some time. You'll also see all those who track the number of cases are going to go up, no doubt about it. So don't be fooled that right now COVID will go. COVID is not going anywhere. H1N1 is still here from so many years. Ebola, it started in 2014. I think the last case was just discovered a week, 10 days back. World has seen 16 such pandemics in last 20 years, starting from, Spanish flu, and you've been hearing about bubonic plague. So this is not the first pandemic. It will not be the last one. The world will, move. But what will amaze you is the speed at which the world is moving to develop this vaccine. And, already you must have heard, all those who read newspapers, that Israel and Italy has already found antibodies to destroy this, coronavirus inside human cells. So, I think you guys are in amazing times. You guys are in that, I think this will be one of those things in your lifetime which you'll remember as you look back as the most important event of your professional life, because it is going to set up hospitals in a very, very different paradigm. My request to you is following. Of course, I will answer your questions if they are. Number one, please remember that there is no substitute for hard work. Number two, knowledge and skill have to be improved. And I want to tell you here very frankly, please use this opportunity not to just stick around to your syllabus. Things are going to change in supply chain. Things are going to change in IT. Things are going to change in how the hospitals look at, EMRs, the electronic medical records. Things are going to change in how people look at, admitting patients in that hospital, how they're going to look at front office, how they're going to look at billing. Everything is going to change. Keep abreast of what is going on around you. Develop your skills. The next point is have an absolutely positive attitude, because as I told you, you are one of the luckiest batches ever IHMR would have produced. And networking is very, very important. You are now in MBA, you're doing a master's. You're not a 12th class or 9th class or 8th class student. Please start building up your networks. Go and be on LinkedIn, make your profiles, connect to good professionals, get in touch with them. And, learn skills which make you more analytical. I'll just give you a small example. Excel, I'm sure every one of you knows. But, one small tool like regression, which will, set you apart, because you are going to analyze a set of data and project it how it looks in the future. I'm just giving you a small example. So I think, Nikita, I think I've spoken enough. And the takeaway is that the worst time and the worst times in your life are the greatest lessons, and they will project you and they will propel you to the best of the times in the future. Second thing, by the time you guys pass out, healthcare will be such an amazing, amazing place, and you will find opportunities. And I think, I'm sure IHMR Delhi, and so goes to your sister institution, will find, more placement opportunities than students, and it'll happen, because I'll be in touch with you guys. And that is the time you'll realize that, you don't have enough people to place around in the country. With that, I'll, keep quiet as of now, and it's spoken enough, and we'll take the questions as we go forward. Nikita, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commander Bali. And I think when I was planning this sequence of how my panelists are going to take up, it just came naturally to me. And having heard Dr. Khokar and Commander Bali, now that Dr. Khokar said that there are enough and plenty of opportunities the way the career path grows, and rightly said, the things like infection control. Some the hospitals till now were probably doing infection control for the heck of doing it. NABH, JCI, all those, and whenever the infection control budget would come, the management would give a look that, oh my God, why such high figures? Cut down wherever you can. Am I right, Commander Bali? Mukesh, sir? So these things, risk management, innovation in healthcare, all is going to change. I was seeing at LinkedIn, one of the hospitals trying some robotic way of registration of patients. So a lot of exciting things are happening. And with that, I'm going to move to Mukesh sir. And sir, one and only simple question with you. How did you juggle with so many things in your career span? And I've known you for over a decade now and have worked with you briefly. But then so many branches, so many allied, branches in hospital, in healthcare. The students there, they always, when they look of career in hospital administration, they always think of hospitals, quality and
Yes.
operations, right? So from you, I would request you to give your opinion that how there are varied industry branches beyond hospitals. So how should students look at it and appraise themselves that there is a career way beyond only hospital, limiting not only to hospital industry? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikita. And thanks to Dr. Commander Bali for a wonderful interaction and viewpoint which he gave, especially for the no losses in the jobs by any of the big corporates. They have not cut. They have assured the frontliners that nothing will go wrong because this is the industry which is going to grow for a longer. Thank you to Dr. Dr. Coker for a wonderful insight which he has given. Now, coming to my point, I think healthcare to me happened, especially the hospital industry, happened by chance. It was not by a choice, but chance. I have been a corporate guy throughout my life. Started my career as a medical representative, grew in that, then got into Bosch and Lomb and was the national head for Bosch and Lomb. Established all the companies that whichever I've worked, basically, I've started from a scratch. That company has started either through Bosch and Lomb or Vastan Eye Care or Medford Hospitals or Apollo Spectra Hospital. All were startups at that time. They were just initially starting and all have stabilized, done well in their overall. I didn't had any formal qualification of hospital administration. I didn't had any kind of a well known. I only knew about the eye hospitals because I was selling my goods to the eye hospitals. So it's all about. I'll tell all the people. IHMR is a very, very good training institute. You are at the right place. They are reputed well outside. It is not that you can only do healthcare. You can do anything else when you come out. It's the right education which is required, right mindset which is required. Industries may change. The work style is your personal work style, which will help you into various industries. We see a lot of IT people now getting into the website, healthcare industry, OYO, hotels. All these were somewhere in the IT or some other business sound into a different business. So similarly with me also, I started as a medical representative, stayed there for quite some time, got into the ophthalmic industry, worked there for 20 years, and then switched over. Opportunity came to start up eye care hospital chain, and that's how the moment happened. I didn't have any experience. That was the time I worked with you, Nikita. I used to learn things from you also because you had come from the hospital and I didn't had any exposure on the hospital. So the actual degree or a hospital administration or an MBA degree you get on job. It is you say when job the training continues, the education doesn't stop. People who keep them upgraded during the job, keep them touch. Product knowledge is very important. They are well versed about their product and competitor product is very, very important. Knowing your company fully is very important, whichever sector, whether you work for a hospital, whether you work for consumer industry, hospital equipment industry, or anything. So degree is yes, works till some for the initial placement, but you can change line whenever you want. It is your what inside says I am fit for this particular line. Please move. Don't wait. Yeah, I have only done MHA. I can only do the hospital administration. Lifelong, I have to only be in the hospital. Look out for the opportunities which are there. Your work speaks for yourself. If you're serious, hardworking, and intelligent enough, to understand things which are there in the market, and change is the only time. COVID situation has changed everyone. The work style has changed. So today we are all doing Zoom calls. We are only doing conference call. We are not in field, not in marketing. I was traveling 22 days a month from last 5 years. From last 40 days, I am at home working on Zoom, working on call. The work style has changed, but the work has not stopped. The business has come down substantially, but it will grow. For health is one which will grow and keep on growing. So don't worry, you are in the right industry, which is there. So please be confident. You are the future. Healthcare will need more people in such kind of a COVID situation and any future disasters which come in. This viruses will keep on coming. We have to find ways and find it out. So please be confident. No need to worry. There are a lot of opportunities. Healthcare industry is going to grow, whether it's a hospital or equipment industry. See, so many ventilator requirements, so many innovation in ventilators have come. Every company today, even a car making company is making a ventilator. These all are innovations which are happening. So don't worry about which industry you would be there. Go all out, give your best. Your work on ground speaks about yourself. And be in touch with people, be in LinkedIn, looking for good opportunities. Don't worry, whatever you get the first opportunity. Don't worry, I'm not getting a right company. I'm not getting a short company. I started with a very small company which was not even known. I stayed there for 1 year. But whenever the opportunity came, please change and move to the right organization, which you see, it is good for you. There is learning, and people do have tendency of changing jobs very frequently. But I suggest changing job is not the correct thing in this current scenario. See, it takes minimum 3 to 5 years to learn an industry. So minimum spend 3 to 5 years in that industry, understand that well. People do have a habit of changing 1 year, 2 years. That doesn't give us the knowledge. 1 year goes into learning, another goes into the implementation. By third year, when you are productive to the company, you leave the organization. Don't do that. Be productive to your organization. Companies will look for your growth also. So don't be in a hurry. Be confident. Be stable. Organizations are looking for people who stay for a longer time and are rewarded well, rather than people who switch every 2 years industries and or move from one hospital to another hospital to. I think Apollo is one hospital which has the longest surviving manpower. We have people working at the age of 80 years also. Our chairman itself is 83 years old, still working, Dr. Pratap Reddy. So choose your industry which is which you like. And in hospital itself, there is wide variety of scope today. Infection control, quality, marketing, operations, many new things which are coming in. Choose those which you like, which really feel, and expose yourself to the entire chain of operations which is there in the system, right from front office to the management to the procurement to everything which is there in the hospital. Become a master of the industry which you get in. Thank you, Nikita.
I thank you so much, sir. And in fact, I had kept this because we keep on getting a lot of queries, which is rightly so by the students, that what is going to happen post-COVID, which is being addressed both by Mukesh sir and Commander Bali. So I'm sure the students will be a little at peace now that there is nothing wrong happening. There is nothing to worry about. In fact, as I understand what Commander Bali and Mukesh sir has said, that the things are going to be for good. There are going to be many new opportunities coming. There are going to be many new aspects, new lines of working. As you said that ventilators are being made by a car making company. I recollect calling Commander Bali one of these days when the COVID had started, that one of my colleague who's into cloth manufacturing has started working for PPE. Do you want one? So he said, till about a week ago, I wasn't getting anything. So I said, no, he's giving a very good deal for 1100 rupees the entire set. He said, I'm getting for 700 now.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we innovate ourselves. We are human beings. We tend to innovate, improvise things, and find out our ways which suits us the best. So there is no panic. So we'll move on. We have good time to address the questions that are coming from the students. So I'll take on one-on-one. The student Niharika Bansal has asked, that question is for Dr. Khokar. He said there are hospitals like AIIMS and Safdarjung and RML. The administrative posts are more offered to people who possess the degree of MBBS. So your reply on that.
Yes, that is true. That they normally go for the post for which MBBS and all, who are normally in MBBS. Yes, there are only junior executive posts which are there, which are being given. But as I had said earlier also, the time is coming when the government will be going for a cadre. Till that cadre is not formed by the government, because there is a very complicated process, that anything that has to happen in the country, that goes to ultimately DOPT, Department of Personnel Training, and that is the ultimate which ultimately comes out, that there has to be a proper cadre. Earlier, everything was clinician based at one time. When you look at the DGHS side and other things, ultimately they came out with 4 cadres in the government services. There is a definite public health cadre, which is now being given a lot of importance. And if you really look at, the ministry is virtually having people who are qualified in public health in one way or the other. Almost 80% of the staff is there. Leaving aside, DGHS of course comes with the common seniority. Till that cadre is not formed, this problem will remain.
I will add on to that, sir. Niharika, don't only look at government hospitals per se, and look at there are some semi-government organization and autonomous bodies under the center government like Quality Council of India, NABH, FICCI, CII, ASSOCHAM, sir, Commander Bali. There is a lot of opportunities for health hospital administration professionals like you, it is not something which has started now. We have an alumni of Jaipur working in QCI for almost now 11 years. You can go and check on the NABH website. Ms. Deepti Mohan is the Deputy Director NABH, and there are 5 of them. So there are enough and plenty opportunities, and now we have Commander Bali with the helm of things at ASSOCHAM. So, sir, a few words from you.
Yeah. So I think I'll just completely agree with all of you. I think there are enough opportunities for the students who are here today in various different fields of healthcare. And as Mukesh was rightly pointing out, healthcare is just not hospitals. There are n number of auxiliary and composite and addendums and this and that along with healthcare. So yes, and Nikita, just to add to it, one important point which I think we have emphasized is about networking. It is very critical. I'm not just trying to this one. You remember the last time I'd come to IHMR Delhi, and I think this was during your interaction to parents, the PI or something.
Yes.
And that particular day, Anandi Ramachandran ma'am had called me and she said that 2-3 students are not getting placed. On that one day, we placed 3 students of IHMR.
Yes.
One day. It is just because, I'm not saying that I was there. Anybody else would have done the same thing. But you have to get connected. You have to know people, And just that, it's quite possible that particular time there are opportunities. And, it is just a matter of the right fit. So
Absolutely.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So as Commander Bali correctly said, and Mukesh sir also said, for all the students right here, networking is something which survives you through this journey. That is the bottom line. I mean, look for opportunities coming on the LinkedIn. There are certain blogs. They ask for some write-ups. Be active, and then there are opportunities being posted. So people have short memories. Unless you keep on, coming in the positive frame of mind, you are forgotten. So be there and be very positively active on social media. Don't waste your much time on your Instas and your TikToks. So coming to the next question, I will take the questions who are the students who are posting in Q&A block as a series that they have posted. So Kritika Arora, the question is, I'll pass on to Mukesh sir, that what exact and particular roles and responsibilities of a hospital manager in the hospital? What are the fields like health that it impact on the healthcare industry? So a student mindset. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that the hospital manager, when you comes, it will carry each and everything. So hospital manager means he has to manage the housekeeping, he has to manage the guards, he has to manage the front office, he has to manage the billing, he has to manage the cleaning of the hospital, he has to manage it, maintenance of the hospital, he has to manage the patients of the hospital, he has to manage the feedback of the patients, everything which comes if he is called hospital manager. So it is ideal to learn step by step, right from, first of all, you have to be very empathetic when you are in a hospital industry. Keep your egos outside, you are in a service industry. Remember Nightingale when you are entering into a hospital, you are into a service industry. So smile is another thing which is very importantly required when you're working for a hospital industry. And constant learning is what is required because no one is perfect in a hospital industry. Everyone is learning, new things are coming every day. In hospital manager, I think the first thing we should know is patient greeting, patient care. That is first level you should see how patients are greeting because they are bread and butter. They are going to give you your surviving things. So that is what their customers are most important. Patients are very important. They are coming in pain and they need to be treated. They're coming to you with pain. And one smile on your face and the team which is there working takes half of the pain. Second is you should know the complete process of patient admission, billing, discharge. All these processes are very important to be learned because if you don't know yourself how the bill is to be raised or how the is done, how will you teach people how to control the people and how to control the business loss or efficiency into the system? So any field in the hospital management, if you go through it yourself, you will be a better operational manager than rather reaching directly to the operation manager, sitting to a position and just telling other people do this doesn't work. Put things through your hand, let them pass through your hands. That is how you will become a more hands-on manager. Today, people talk about hands-on manager, people who know and help guide team in doing their work more efficiently and build up their knowledge bank also. That is what is important.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
As Mukesh sir rightly said that you have to work yourself. If you are working in billing department and if you don't know what are the tariffs and how the insurance packages are being designed and how the cash billing is happening, you will not be able to lead a team. You will not be able to help the patient only. So unless you work on the ground level, you will, if you have the right acumen, if you have the right approach, you go very fast into the system. So the next question, sir, Commander Bali, we have students from the services also, and this is from Colonel Manoj Sharma. He has loads of questions, so I'm not going to read out the entire thing. Colonel Manoj, I think the first part is already being answered, that there is no recession happening in the healthcare. We are rather looking at expansion and much better opportunities. So coming to the next question, I think that Commander Bali is the right person to answer that. He says, sir, that for the individual like us who are in the forces, who are likely to come up for a second innings, not before 2025, what new and more to be learned for keeping pace with the development of healthcare industry?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question for everyone and also every student who's here because 5 years down the line, and believe you me, you will see a very, very different kind of healthcare. I'll tell you why. See, there is one single space in the world where I believe, and I speak to Dr. Shetty also many times, as where disruption has not yet happened. Disruption has happened in the way you ride cars. Disruption has happened where you buy movie tickets. Disruption has happened wherever. But even today, how you go to the hospital, how you're treated in the hospital is exactly the same which was happening 20 years, 30 years back. So you might have robotics coming in, but you have the same thing. You have to go to the hospital, go to the OPD, sit in front of the doctor. He checks some tests. Obviously tests would have become better. There are better diagnostics. But you go to an OT table, a surgery happens, you land up for 2-3 days. So nothing much has changed. So that word disruption has not yet happened. But now, COVID was one of those sentinel events which will push healthcare towards a different kind of healthcare. And this was one of the biggest disruptions in healthcare. So the skills that you need to, learn in the next 5 years would be skills of, number one, how to manage supply chain better. Number two, of healthcare analytics, where not only how the disease progresses and how the outcomes come out. Like just for example, read about a program by IBM Watson about how they predict a chemotherapy in a patient. Okay, it's a very nascent stages. So supply chain, the trends, the healthcare IT and electronic medical records. We always talk about this term called artificial intelligence in a very loose manner, So we all talk about the AI, but you need to look at AI in a very different way. What is AI? AI is looking at the data and finding out some suitable, analysis, which then is used to treat a disease. So by the time you finish off, 5 years, how you look at supply chain, how you look at artificial intelligence, smart hospitals in the truer sense, not the way we are looking in healthcare now. We're already seeing because of COVID, video consultations are now increased. So patients don't have to come to the hospital at all, So look at IT, look at analytics, look at supply chain, and, merge all those best practices where you learn into healthcare. So, those are the practices which have not yet percolated down to the healthcare at all. Anything which saves the cost, anything which makes pain less for the patient, anything which makes the stay of a patient less in the hospital, any such techniques which are going to be useful as you go forward. So to be very specific to you, look at IT, look at data analysis, look at supply chain. I think these three are one of the most important categories that you need to look at by 2025, and you will see immense amount of changes happening in these 3-4 subjects.
Right. Thank you, sir. So I think there are a couple of students who have asked the same question, that what during the lockdown period that we should be looking at, which you have answered, that analytics, supply chain, artificial intelligence, and there are a lot of courses which are available online. You may register yourself and do it. Dr. Khokar, one of the students, Niharika, is asking that post-COVID, does the institute also look into some kind of curriculum changes which may help them for better placements?
See, the curriculum changes are already being done. I think faculty, regular faculty meetings are being held, and our curriculum is already being updated. And yes, there post-COVID also, like others also earlier also, if you go by the modules which we have been teaching, especially if you cover emergency preparedness, disaster management and all, these are some of the modules which will have to be updated, and they are definitely being taken care of. I do not know in what context you post-COVID, otherwise, if you can come out with anything in mind.
Right. So there are questions which are being a little repetitive in nature about what positions do we start, and what are the courses that they should look at. And so I'll come to the next question, which is from Shivanand. Mukesh sir, if you may take this question, are you with us? Mukesh sir, the student wants to ask that how does marketing domain, especially the international marketing opportunities required for us when stepping into hospital sector?
So currently the international is in a very bad shape. We really don't know how it's going to pick up post-COVID. What is going to be the reaction? It's very difficult to comment on the international travel and seeing to the patient coming from there. Yes, the cost of surgery is going to increase in the uh, and cost of treatment is going to increase in Europe and international base and other places. So India can become a choice of hub, but depending upon the feasibility and the cost of travel is going to be very important, which is there. Okay? So that cost of travel is very, very important, which is there, which is going to impact. And the cost of surgeries also, if they go up, that is what is required. So international is a risky piece, difficult to comment at this moment. But yes, this is an exciting domain, but it's a total different ball game than the routine marketing. International travels, we really don't know. There are a lot of OPDs happening and all now. How much OPDs would be happening? Basically, the business used to come. The model may change. Rather than on-field marketing, it will more of a teleconsult, which the government has allowed to do now, the teleconsult part, to more and more in international teleconsult and the patient traveling on its own rather than doing OPDs over there. And doctors physically going in and examining would be difficult. They would be doing teleconsult, seeing their reports, telling them the test and all. So international market scenario also will change. Opportunity as a career path, it's very difficult right now to comment it out, whether it will be good or bad.
Vandavali, your thoughts on it, on the international marketing stream?
Yeah, yes. So, Nikita, in the short run, obviously there's a disruption. In the short run, most of these OPDs and most of the patients dried up. But because I head the northern region, today morning I was taking the international marketing review, and there are a lot of queries waiting, to materialize, and a lot of the patients are have started in fact asking when can they come. So I think as we open up the international travel, what is going to happen very clearly is all those countries which are not hotspots today, I'll tell you one specific example. Iraq is one country which did not have so many COVID patients, and Iraq is one country which sends huge amount of patients to India. Then look at the CIS countries, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, again not hotspots. Patients will start coming into India. So I think it will take time, no doubt about it, and international will be the last one to start up. But I think going forward, in my viewpoint, it will be as normal as it was before, although it will take some time. And it is also possible that, with these possibilities of video consultation, etc., opening up, and if we get our act together, I have in my viewpoint that this will move up exponentially the number of patients who are coming into India. Also, one more important thing, by the time this COVID thing ends, hospitals would have become much more efficient. And once you become much more efficient, you are able to deliver the same healthcare at much lesser cost. And when you deliver the same healthcare at much lesser cost, Nikita, it will be much more attractive to the patients to come to India. So in my viewpoint, it will become much better in the future.
So also just to add on the European markets, which the Indian healthcare has always been looking at, that the European healthcare market now possibly with the extent they've done damage to themselves, and their complete healthcare industry is not able to stand itself. So we may open the European market also for ourselves. Earlier, where they were only looking at Dubai or going to Bangkok and considering India is not that high quality, now India may have a brighter chance to capture on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Colonel Manoj Sharma has specifically asked me to take his third point, which I actually missed. So he says that where in hierarchy do we see make us entry to be more precise? What level do we enter? In the healthcare, to be more precise, in hospital industry.
Yeah, so Colonel Manoj, I wanted to when I was talking about the all the 5-6 points for students to be successful, or I mean I had left out one point, specifically, that is called destiny. I don't want to usually talk about it. Uh, so when I left Indian Navy and I joined the hospital, I think I was very, very lucky. Let me tell you very frankly. I went and straight away headed a hospital. Most of the army officers, when they leave army and come, they usually come as administrative heads of hospitals. So admin heads, which is one level below the facility director or the head of the hospital, usually. Okay. So if to answer your question absolutely objectively, when you leave and join this one, if you're joining at a particular, typical hospital management kind of a cadre, you will become the administrative head of a hospital, which is almost like a number 2 in the hierarchy. So you may not become the number 1, because there are many aspects of your hospital, like revenue, like various specialties, how they function, what is RPOB, what is ALOS, how you can reduce cost, how you can enhance, so that you may not understand. So that means you enter at number 2 level, do your become the administrative head of a hospital, learn a little bit, and maybe 2 to 3 4 years down the line you can go ahead and head a hospital. And I think that is an amazing thing to happen. Believe you Can you believe it, that let us say there was a corporate guy who would have worked in the corporate world, and then he wanted to suddenly come and join the army, and you tell, okay, you come ahead and become the 2IC of a unit. Nobody will allow you, because you have to undergo at least a 6 months training at IMA, or you should have gone to 3 years training in NDA, and then you will allow that guy to anyway go and pick up a rifle. So when a corporate guy who would have headed an organization will never ever be allowed to come as a second in command or something of a unit. But I think healthcare gives you that opportunity where you can really land up at almost at a 2IC or a second in command in a hospital, and then learn and move towards heading a hospital. I hope that has answered your question.
That's more like a services language. So now I think it will satisfy his questions. Okay, so just to add on what you said, Commander Bali, Colonel Manoj, way back in 2008, Fortis actually took this step to hire, colonel rank officers who are taking VRS, and actually they took an initiative to go out, reach out to people, and get them on board. So they, after taking them on board, they had launched a leadership development program specifically for 8 months, and which was more of theory, and then 4 months of like a typical internship for all the officers to go on to different Fortis. I think Naveen, Dr. Commander Bali is smiling, so he knows what I'm saying. So, and now, after completing that, now we have very, very senior officers who had come during that program, actually heading as one of the senior directors of Max Healthcare, and been the zonal director for Fortis for a pretty long time. So there is plenty of scope, and what rightly said by Commander Bali, you have to start from the scratch learning aspects of it now, since you're a professionally qualified hospital administrator. So rest assured you'll be in a very good position. We'll come to the next question by Dr. Aishwarya. Dr. Khokar, if you can answer this. Dr. Aishwarya says that how can we know which stream to select, hospital or health? And as in, what are the aspects that one should look for himself to choose which stream suits them the best? So with this question, I'm going to come to Mukesh sir and Commander Bali as well. So Dr. Khokar.
Yes, one thing very, very important is that first thing I'll say that always listen to your own interest. What is you more interested in? Whether you are more interested in hospital or you are interested in public health. Because that is the first thing that you should think of. Think of the, within the hospital life, there may be certain things which are the advantages, but there are the other things which are, like the job is at 24 hours. You may have to lot of tension in various positions. Then there's urgency of things, and all that factors you should consider yourself. By now you are qualified because you have already learned about the hospital functioning also. as well as you have learned about the public health. So it is the most important is what is your interest lies. There are advantages in the hospital that it can be life can be more stable. You don't have to go for out for doing like if you are in public health, you are involved in various type of projects, research works and all. You have to move out and rightly so, and that is interesting also. But I would say ultimately, when you have to decide, you have to listen to your own heart and what you should do.
Mukesh
Because
sir?
advantages, disadvantages by now are
Yeah,
almost.
you can test and choose, I would say. Because it's very difficult at this time and moment, which first is the opportunity what you get. Whether you get an opportunity in a good hospital, yes, it's depends upon what kind of a brand you're getting in or what kind of a hospital you're getting in. You should see where you can learn more during this time and which organization can teach you better, whether it's a health or a hospital industry. You should choose where, because the initial days are on the learning path. We have to
Well, they
learn.
have completed their first year and they were supposed to be on their internship, but unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, it got
Yeah.
all cancelled and they are
Yeah.
working on some projects sitting at home. In the second year, they have an option to select between hospital administration, healthcare management, and healthcare IT. So they are
Yeah.
on the verge of deciding which way they go. So that's why most of the questions I can see on the chat box are coming around
I
which,
think healthcare IT is very interesting piece which is coming up,
yeah,
which is different than this. Analysis, healthcare analysis is another one. A lot of analytical work is today done in the healthcare. These are new interesting things apart from the routine work of a hospital, which is really working. Because IT is definitely going to change the way the business is being run
right.
for future. These are two new interesting line, analytics as well as the IT, which if they are trying to do something different than the routine operations and other things, this is something new and very exciting line which is there. And then once they understand this, they can any day move to the operations piece.
Right.
That will be
So,
an added feather in their cap if they know IT and analytics. They'll be a better operational managers in the system.
absolutely. Thank you, sir. Commander Bali, there's a question from Surbhi Kumari. She says, can a public health student work in a hospital? Which post can we work and what kind of a job description?
Yeah, to answer it very objectively, a public health, I mean, usually none of the corporate hospitals have, they don't much delve into public health at all. So in a corporate hospital, the chances of a public health, hospital, I mean, a professional working in a corporate hospital will be very, very low because, nothing of that sort happens. Yeah, but I can say that going forward, I don't know how the policies of government will shape up. That is very important to understand. Let us say going forward, because as many of you know, I mean, there are many thought process of how healthcare in India should be, evolving. It's quite possible that there are some, enmeshment of, even private and corporate hospitals along with public health, which would be lessons from this COVID. If that happens, then obviously it's quite possible that government makes a policy where say that we want to have a public health professional in every corporate hospital. Okay, but that is a something which is just a thought process, nothing like that at all. It's a policy matter. But in the present state, a public health a person in corporate hospital is a no-no, and there's not much career in for it. How
Yeah.
it shapes up in the future, I don't know.
Right. And also public health person may have very few opportunities unless the organization is a research organization and, doing some genuine research, if I may just say, not only as a registered research organization.
Yeah.
So coming on to the next question, Shivanand wants to ask that how does an engineering background professional to be fit in a hospital sector?
You're answering me. You're asking Mukesh.
Uh,
Okay, sir.
Mukesh sir, are you there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So I think whether
I
it
think
is
this question is for both of you as from the corporate industry, because the students are from varied backgrounds and they have the questions pertaining to their graduation essentially. So he wants to ask that from how does an engineering background professional can be a fit into hospital administration?
I think I had my boss who was an engineer who used to run the entire Kaushal show.
Right.
So I think engineering is the routine like today, like a graduation which other people have done. So it
Right.
teaches all the education. Like I did a BSc and I'm doing the management without a formal degree with me. So that is perfectly fine. I think degree again doesn't matter what is there. It is what the on ground experience you gain, and that will be your management degree. In which industry you spend 3 years and gain the management degree, on ground management degree, which is important. So I think whether it is a engineering, whether it is a BCom, so now we see BCom people also running healthcare. We have a lot of engineering people who are heading CEOs. CEOs are engineers. They're not from medical profession. They're not doctors, but they're heading the hospitals.
Right. And
So
also,
it's
sir, just to add, the engineering background people can play a very important role in managing the support services, like your OT management, your biomedical engineering,
project work.
project department, and they come very handy when you get stuck with technology. So they are much in demand. Like as I said, the BCom background would be a very good fit, let's say in a TPA department or a medical insurance department, who has the good acumen with the numbers and have an understanding. So Commander Bali, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I think this will be a good interview question for this gentleman who's asked the question that please tell us how does an engineering background, help you to become a better healthcare professional. So I think he should be ready with this answer. As far as I'm concerned, a corporate hospital is going to basically look at two, three things. How do you reduce the costs? How do you increase the revenue? How do you increase the number of patients coming in? How do you make hospitals more efficient? I
Yes.
mean, is there something that you can do? So as far as engineering is concerned, let us say you have a bent of mind and you want to typically go towards that. So although it will be a very narrow field, I would suggest to look at management as a whole. As he rightly said, Mukesh, that engineering just becomes your basic degree, then you are now heading to become leaders. You're now heading to become managers. So that becomes your basic degree. But yes, as Nikita was saying, I mean, HVAC, the air conditioning plants, the, machineries in the hospitals, a lot of technology, and I'm talking about machineries, there's all that. So, I think what you should look at is, as I slightly asked, please answer this question to yourself. How does your engineering background make you a right choice to run a more efficient hospital? So I think that answer, if your engineering background is able to give you, I think that would be the right fit.
Right, sir. So we are just almost reaching the time allocated to us. I'll just take last two questions quickly. There is a question from Niharika about, do you think telemedicine is taking over in the coming time? And secondly, related to it, Colonel Manoj has asked that with AI taking over, do you think the hospital administrators will lose the sheen? So he's posing a threat on everybody's job right here.
Who's asked? You
Colonel
want me to
Manoj.
answer?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. No, it's a very interesting question, and I think I think we should look at history. When industrial revolution took place, I think everybody thought that people who were doing manual labor will lose their jobs, But I think human beings are such, and jobs are such that both of them reinvent each other. So when the power loom started, you started having these huge machines. People reskilled themselves. People who are doing it manually reskilled themselves to go towards how to run a power loom. And I mean, population of the world kept on increasing. But the jobs also kept on increasing. So despite technology, it does not matter that the jobs go away, but the jobs reform themselves, reshape themselves. And as far as the first question, I'll go one by one. Telemedicine never ever took off in a big way. COVID gave that opportunity for people to look at, first of all, teleconsultation, where you can sit at your home and consult. One thing. So telemedicine is a lot of things. There is one is called a video consultation. Second is when you look at your reports, radiology reports, and you then consult. I think this is go on improving over a period of time. Right now, you're not exactly where you should be. And one more important thing, please please know that, many times a patient wants to come and sit in front of a doctor. He wants to look at the doctor. He wants to look and discuss it because, healthcare is not a profession where, you're detached completely. It is also a lot of emotions come into play. So in worst of the times when people can't move out, telemedicine and teleconsult is a good thing. It will remain, maybe it will become better. But please remember, a personal consultation with the doctors will always remain and always have a value. And it has a value in countries like US, where telemedicine started many, many years back. So coming to the second question, will hospital administrators lose their job? Not at all. It will not happen. The job will transform itself with different changes happening, and that's what I said. You need to be keeping abreast of those changes. So hospital administrator earlier would only do hospital ko aapne chala liya. Now a hospital administrator will have to be analytical. He'll have to look at how to reduce cost. Can he run a better hospital? Can he be more efficient? Can he reduce the consumption? Can he ensure that OT runs properly? Can he take so all those things will change, as the time changes. But none of the jobs will go away. The jobs will transform themselves.
Right. So we'll come on to the last question to Mukesh sir. Shivangi Yadav wants to ask sir that what are the major patient service issues in current healthcare scenario?
Yeah, patient care is one of the most important one. I think people today expectations are very, very high. You see the earlier patient behavior versus today patient behavior is totally changed. They feel this is a commodity and they can buy it out, which is not true. You can see how now all the team members and people have saluted the COVID warriors, the doctors, and they now realize the real value of doctors. Last few years, the value of doctors and value of healthcare industry had gone down badly by media. It was very negatively publicized. One small case used to be boomed. One small death used to be kind of exploited like anything by media and all. Many hospitals got shut, damaged because of that. A lot of violence we have seen in the hospitals happening, which has happened. But the way now the people are thinking, the now way people are looking at the healthcare professional has changed a lot. So first of all, I think they will come with the same, with the respect which they want. No one wants to wait today. They want कि मैंने पैसे दिए मुझे अभी दिया. I've given me 2 o'clock time. See, we are in a healthcare industry where if we don't satisfy our first patient and send him across, it's not a time clock. It's not a lawyer fees. You are being charged every minute, and extra minute you will be thrown out. That is not the case. That empathy, personal touch, it's more faith healing also apart from the medicine. A lot of touch, faith healing is required for the patients. So I think patient care is very, very important, and patients should also learn how to behave and kind of accept the change which is coming in. Their life is dependent on the hand of doctors and the treatment which is there. And self-treatment has become very common. Self-medication has become very common. A lot of this damage the body very badly. Those things should be avoided in the system.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. And I will just add a couple of things that when we collect feedbacks, and I think Commander Bali and Mukesh sir will agree to this, when we have feedbacks collected from IT patients, let's say a sample of 50, there'll be only 7 or 8 where the patient has complained that I was not attended well by the doctor. Remaining 45 or 40 complaints are by the attendants. So it is equally important not only to take care of the patient needs, but also to ensure that your patient attendants are comfortable and their needs are also being taken care. They are being taught about what is the care plan, what are the prognoses, what do you expect. So it is equally important not only to take care of patient issues, but also the family issues equally. So with this, we are just coming in for the session. Thank you everyone, Commander Bali, Mukesh sir, for taking up questions of the students. And generally, all the questions we've been able to take, a couple of them are there that whether they can shift after working for 4-5 years in one healthcare industry to hospital or vice versa, which you've answered that there's always an opportunity where you can see your strengths, where your strengths lie, and you can always move. So I'll request Dr. Khokar to conclude the session, and thanks to Commander Bali and Mukesh sir. Khokar sir.
Thank you. I think a lot has been said, and let me just sum up some of the issues to us. One thing is that every field whatsoever is, hospital industry is such which requires persons right from commerce to engineering to any other subject which is there. And I think they were discussed in different manners. So everything, scope is tremendous for anyone, whosoever is there. As Dr. Bali said, hard work is the key, right? So the other thing which our friends emphasized was that don't try to get whatever is given to you, but do it seriously. And you will see over a period of time what you get. Then do supply chain, IT, artificial intelligence, all these are the things which will come up over a period of time. As we said that pharmaceuticals, then medical appliances and other fields are there, medical tourism. So try to look beyond the four walls of the hospitals, and that is another message which our esteemed students are getting from our panelists. Then when they talked of the international marketing and other things, we are very clear that yes, there is going to be a change post-COVID, though there will be international medical marketing and tourism will suffer for some time, but efficiency is the key, and with our costs and low cost that we offer, ultimately this will be reviving in a short period of time. Then of course, there were certain questions related to the army personals, and they are rightly answered by Commander Bali that yes, you will get opportunities, may not be at the top of the hospital, but definitely as some of the administrative heads. Then as Mr. Mukesh said that always grab what opportunity comes, you look for it, and we cannot think of that what we are thinking of, but what are the opportunity providers and get into that. Healthcare, I think, is one of the areas which is going to come up ultimately in a big way. Now, as far as the public health professionals and vis-a-vis the hospital are concerned, is there are roles for public health professionals, but as of now, as Commander Bali has said that yes, in the corporate hospitals, there are very few chances for them. Yes, the engineers do have a role. They may be, besides whatever was discussed, they may be quite good role in instrumentation, and biomedical engineering is coming in a big way. Then, of course, we know that patient care issues, patients will always like the quality should be high, cost should be low, there have to be accountability, has to be within the medical profession, and now we realize that patients have also to be accountable for their actions. So coming to the end, I would say that all of us what I was emphasizing that ultimately where your interest lies, go for that and do hard work to come up. And with these few words, let me, first of all, thank our panelists, Commander Bali as well as Mr. Mukesh Sawal, and thanks to our dear Nikita, who has conducted this session in such a lively manner. So over to Nikita again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And for all the students, though we have tried to cover the questions, and apologies to Dr. Anandi, I haven't taken her question, but I will answer you personally, Dr. Anandi. And for all the students, let me assure you that we have this series coming up for you, and you'll be able to hear a lot from the industry leaders to help you decide which stream you should go, how are we looking at the future. So rest assured that you are not, you'll be all hands-full in the coming few days. And thank you so much, Commander Bali and Mukesh sir, once again. And we look forward to have such many more interactions like this in future. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nick.
Thank you very much.